Mic check, mic check. Wonderful. Everything's working. Welcome everyone to this week's edition of our AMA report covering both technical and, of course, fundamental analysis of the whole crypto market. My name is William, head of ETH Academy. Of course, as usual, your AMA host. Before I jump into today's contents, just a quick introduction of the exchange. Now, XT was founded in 2018 and currently serves more than 7.8 million registered users. A little bit about the news. So the XT did provide very interesting products, and they totally updated their launch pool. As right now, as users can actually stake their USDT as well as their XT tokens to earn a share of, I believe it's around like 250,000 alti tokens as rewards. So the more you stake, the more you can earn on XT launch pool. So if you have USDT and you're just waiting for a dip to buy, you just need somewhere to stash it, you might as well earn yourself some of that alti tokens. Now, staking begins on just yesterday, June 6th, and the mining of it does start June 8th. That would be tomorrow. So users can stake, like I said, your USDT as well as your XT tokens for 5 days straight. And that's about 80% of rewards will be allocated to the USDT stakers, and 20% will be allocated to the XT token stakers. Now, do keep in mind that Alti is a token from Altiverse. It's a company innovating Web3 gaming by integrating AI and blockchain technology. The company and the project itself, the Altiverse, has raised a lot of funding. I think that was including about like 4.5 million seed round. That's quite a bit, and a round of another 4 million during the strategic round. Excuse me. So it's a big thing, and because they have like notable investors like Binance Labs and IDG Capital, those are big, right? So if you do have the extra USDT or just XT tokens sitting around in your account, you might as well park it in Alti token if you're waiting for the dip and earn yourself some of that free Alti tokens. Another product I do want to quickly go over before I jump into technical analysis section for this week's AMA is that the company is very pleased to announce that the new round of shark fin products right now, with of course principal protection, is right now offering real amazing guaranteed 8% APR. And right now, it's, of course, you can earn more than 8%, because that's just the bare minimum 8% guaranteed, since it does have a floating returns above 10% right now. This is a limited time opportunity. I believe it started just yesterday, 7 a.m. UTC time. And then I think you'd be able to enjoy it until today for a little bit longer. So definitely act fast. For those who are not familiar with XT Shark Fin product, it does come with several advantages. One of them is zero risk due to the principal protection, the 8%, right? A flat minimal protection that you're going to gain. This really ensures that you avoid a lot of market risk. It also guarantees a minimum return, right? And of course, for those who want potential higher variable returns, you also get that as well. Now, do keep in mind that there are zero service fees associated with this investment. That's why it's a little bit higher than other exchanges. And the product offers high liquidity, of course, with the short 3 to 7 day durations, right? So, of course, after maturity, your funds will be automatically reinvested to continue earning the returns, or of course, you can take it out, right? All right, so hopefully that's my spiel of this shark fin. If you're not familiar with it, definitely go check it out. All right, so just a quick disclosure before I jump into the technical analysis section. Please be advised, anything I say in this AMA, it's not financial advice. I did it once purely because I wanted to give you guys a little bit of value, but that was just one AMA last week. We're back to the educational aspect of these AMAs, and this is simply my professional analysis and, of course, my opinion, my thoughts on the crypto market for purely educational purposes only. Well, that said, guys, welcome back to Friday's technical analysis segment, and this is where we're going to dive deep in, of course, crypto trading. And if you're not a trader, that's fine, because I'm going to go over the 1 day chart as well, a little bit of the 1 week chart. 1 week chart is going to be a little boring, but I have no doubt the 1 day chart is going to help everyone. Okay, so let's just jump right in. So that being said, let's jump in. Let's start with the 4-hour time frame. This is relevant to traders or swing traders. If you're not a trader, you just bear with me, because you shouldn't be looking at the 4-hour time frame. It's almost irrelevant for you if you're an investor and you're only buying the dip once or twice a month. That being said, right now in the 4-hour time frame, the Bitcoin right now, and we're only talking about Bitcoin because if you understand Bitcoin, because it's dominance, you understand the whole market. Right now, we are seeing a significant short-term movements, right, and a little bit of volatility, which is good on the upside. Since yesterday, we did see BTC just surge a little bit past the 21K mark. I'm pretty happy with that. And we are touching highs close like the 71.6K realm. Unfortunately, we didn't break it, but it's a little too early if we just start skyrocketing beyond 72K. I do expect a little bit more consulting, but do keep in mind that the TD sequential indicator right now on the 4-hour chart, it's giving us a sell signal, right? And so we do see this potential short-term, more bearish consolidation, right? But do keep in mind that this whole setup, it really indicates that Bitcoin is just facing another correction before we continued another upward trajectory. So this, if you want to buy the dip, you want to get a little bit more assets in, I think this is going to be one of the few great opportunities to get your liquidity in before we start really chugging upwards. That's exactly what I'm going to do for the next 5 days. So hopefully you do still holding some stables on the side. That being said, despite that the whole bear signal because of the TD sequential indicator, we do have other technical indicators that are pretty positive. I'd say pretty. I wouldn't say really, but it's relatively positive. So if you take a look at the RSI, right, on the 4-hour, it did peak at 74, right? But right now it's back to, I think it was like 69, 68 right now. Yeah, so and depending on the chart you're looking at, right? So, and this really indicates that BTC is not overbought yet. So we're just cooling down a little bit, all right? We do have the 70K support level, right? So unless we break that, I don't think we're going to go anywhere. We're just sitting around 71K. We're just chilling right now. So yeah, and unless we break down 70K, like we're not going anywhere. We have the 2021 resistance, the all-time peak, has now become officially our super happy support. So for those who bought the top in 2021 and wasn't able to sell, and you're still holding, well, congratulations. You have officially gotten the average buy order in for those who've been buying or want to buy in the last few weeks. Now, I do see we're going to see a little bit of resistance just a little bit before 72K, probably around like 7180, 718, 71,000. 900-ish, yeah, just a little bit below 72K. But if we do drop below 70K, though, we can have a nice, very fast swing to the downside. But I do not expect that to exist long term. Now that we are pushing 71, that's just, and we're pushing this for quite a while, and we're still sitting at 71 today, literally right now. I do not see us going far. You'd be so lucky if you even catch a flash crash at 66. I just don't see us going anywhere beyond 68, even if we do break down 70, just for a quick breather. But if you get anything below 70 right now, like I said, the 2021 resistance all-time high, that is now our bread and butter support. All right. So if we do break that down, I think it's just going to be whoopsie daisy, just going to swing back down, and we're going to swing right back up within 48 hours. So if you do, or do you have aggressive buy orders, and you do pick up on the cheap side below 69, well, look, just pat yourself in the back, guys. Right. So that's my 4-hour spiel. I do think, if you haven't got your liquidity in short term, that's totally fine. I'm the same way too. I'm sitting on a nice pocket of stables. I'm just waiting to get in, but I am waiting. That being said, let's jump into my 1-day technical time frame analysis. And if you look on the day chart, right, so BTC, Bitcoin, it's bullish. It's look, guys, we broke 70K. We're now just saying 71K. I don't think you guys need me to tell you that this is bullish, right? But let me tell you my analysis, right? Now, I do think that the midterm is positive because since yesterday we did test at 72K. We're not going to break it anytime soon, but knock on it another 2 or 3 more times, or we'll break it easily. Because we're at the beginning of the bull market, we're still early. We don't see any parabolic runs yet. That comes later. So a critical level would, like, if we break that 72K, that critical level, I think that's going to dictate like a significant move, because then we're like no man's land. We're like uncharted territory, right? Because we've already broken the all-time highs at this point. We will, if we go up, it's purely no man's land. So I expect, like, 100, we're going to test 100K, of course, but before that, of course, I know I'm getting my head of myself. We're probably going to hit like 84K, 87K. That's what I think where the accumulation pattern is going to be. If you take a look at the Fibonacci levels, that's basically, it says the same thing, 84, 87. So I do expect a little bit more accumulation around that end before we start knocking on the 100K 6-digit, right? We're probably going to see some pretty happy, like, resistance there, but that's just psychologically, right? Now, if you do take a look at the other indicators, you take a look at the RSI, we're at 56, guys, on the day chart. All right, that's nothing. We have so much room for any uptrend to keep continuing, even if we take a small little breather. Which, if you take a look at like some of the news that what's happening with, especially with Bitcoin and non-retail purchases in the last 7 days, look, we are going up. Like, just too many people are accumulating, and I'm talking about like financial institutions here, like banks. All right, I'll get that to a little bit later. I don't want to spend too much time talking about Bitcoin because it's kind of almost irrelevant at this point, since, like, if you see banks buying Bitcoin, and guys, you know where your store value is, right? Especially if you want to like swing trade, or just like leave your funds in for like a few months because you need to buy something expensive a few months, like, just buy your Bitcoin as a store of value, right? So anyways, we do have this bullish trend on the 1 day time frame, but I do think that traders, if you're trading and you're looking at the 1 day as a macro chart, you guys got to be careful. We're going to have short-term pullbacks, right? And you can be able to see that. You're not going to be able to see that in the 1 day time frame unless you look at like the smaller time frames, like the 4-hour time frames, 6-hour time frames, right? Because 1 day dojis, they're 24 hours, and anything can happen. Big fat crash, a big fat pullback can easily happen in 24 hours, right? And we'll just have a quick little blip with this quick, small little long tail on the bottom. So, I do see that the TD sequential sell signal is around at the 70K. So if we do hit 70K, I'll be happy to just wait for it to pick up around 68. Right? If you're lucky, maybe 67, 66, but, put your ladder buy with your buy orders. But if you're a trader, then, you can look at the smaller time frame and try to pick up as low as possible. All right. So that's my spiel for the 1 day time frame. I'm just going to quickly talk about the 1 week time frame. But I don't want to spend too much time on it. But that being said, we do see a lot of just accumulation around 71K right now, exactly where we're at, just a little bit more actually. A lot of people bought actually around like 71.4K. So we do have this bullish momentum. Some people are a little bit down if you bought the last few days. That's totally fine. But Bitcoin does need to close above the 71.4K level this week. If it doesn't, I'm going to keep my eye out. But if it does, I'm looking for like at least easily 84K. So, and if we do close, if we hold this, like our current level 71, we're at 71K right now. We hold 71K, and we just go sideways, up and down a little. We're going to 85K, right? Like, this is no brainer, because I think this whole breakout is it's decisive. It's going to happen sooner than later. Actually, the long-term indicators, though, they are of course bullish. Like I said, I'm not going to waste too much time on this. Though, if I do think that there's potential double top pattern around 72K, or just a little bit like 71.8K. I do see we're going to have like a double tap there. If we do see that one, I think we're going to have just like a small short-term bearish reversal if we do fail to break 72K one more time, right? Because then double tap, and then we come back down, accumulate a little bit more, and we go up to the third break, third more knock, fourth knock, and then we'll break it. We'll break it then. But if we don't break the second try, yeah, don't expect like, we're gonna just burst out of the 72K and hit like 84. Like, I just don't see that being realistic, right? But so keep that in mind. If we do break 72 by the end of this week, and you see that double top, then you know what? Look, just hold your bags. Just wait. Good chance to buy the dip once we pull back. All right. All right, so that's my spiel for the 1 week time frame. Hopefully my opinion, my analysis is giving you a second opinion. Definitely still do your homework as well. That's really important because I don't want you guys blindly listen to me. That being said, hopefully that helps you guys out. All right, so let's jump into this week's news. Excuse me, I'm just going to take a quick breather. All right, here we go. So the very first news I really want to highlight in the last 7 days is the fact all the facts going around, the relevant facts going around Ethereum. I'm not going to spend too much on time on this because Ethereum has a really big market cap, but I think it's a little bit confusing because a lot of people might not understand what's going on with all the potential politics around Ethereum right now that the spot ETFs are in, but we're still waiting for the S1 license to come out to be approved. But that being said, I think we can be optimistic long term. But if you look at VanEck Ethereum spot ETF update, they are expecting quite a lot of money. The thing is, there's so much free cash flows coming in, and it's generated by Ethereum right now. I think they're like almost close to like 66 billion generated right now in terms of cash flow. It's ridiculous, right? So if you do take a look at like the previous target level, I do think like the whole market as a whole has a really positive reaction when you start seeing these inflows into Ethereum, because like I think like what was it like just like a week ago around like the end of May, we did see like $33.5 million, around 33, 34, I think it was around $33 million worth of inflows going into Ethereum, right? And if you look at like the last 2 months, right, you don't really see a lot of outflows. Like I think the outflows in total, just like the last 8 months, was like less than $200 million. So there's a lot of money being compiling for the last few months, even though way before we had the spot Ethereum going through, right? So I really think that data really highlights like there's this just growing confidence in not just retail investors, but also the financial institution. They want to run because there's so much attention and focus. And then now that like this, as Gary Gensler, Mr. Gensler, as much as like he has a handful in handling the situation, I do respect him for dealing with this very delicate situation with Ethereum spot ETF. Like he does, because whatever he does with Ethereum, it pays away for every single other proof of staking chain out there. So he has to be so careful, since it's literally the moment he approves Ethereum, and however he does it with whatever limitation, it's the same thing for all the other chains, right? Same thing for Solana, same thing for Avalanche, Cardano, probably you name it, right? So that's why this big one, it's like he has to be so careful, right? But that being said, we have new leverage Ether ETFs that just got deployed just a few days ago, and like that's good because we have volatility, and when you start having in traders, the big traders, I'm not talking about retail traders, I'm talking about like financial institution traders, like the professional ones who work in Wall Street. They like volatility. That's how they make money. If there's no volatility, there's no money to be made. They only have 2x leverage though, so that's actually not bad. Like I usually use 2x leverage when I play with when I trade trade perpetuals, maybe 2.5, maybe 3. I never go over 3. It's just, yeah, that I just don't. It's hard to start controlling your ins and outs. You're closing your positions if you have more than 3x leverage. But anyways, we do see a lot of 2x leverage for financial institutions trading on these official levered Ethereum ETFs. And I think this is great because the more you actually have these professional traders getting into crypto trading, the more you actually be able to pull liquidity into Ethereum once the spot Ether ETFs come out, right? And I think that's really significant because once you see United States doing it, it's so easy for the other countries to basically copy. Well, I would say mirror, because what they do is they copy what the United States do and they calibrate it to their needs in their own country, and then they deploy it, right? So it's almost a mirror to what the United States is doing, but it's just safer that way since the United States made the first move, right? Now I do think that well, what was it? They actually handled almost $5 million in trade and 24-hour trading volume the first day on these levered ETH ETFs. That's amazing, guys, because you understand that outperforms all the non-leveraged Ether futures and ETFs in the first few days combined, right? So there is interest, right? We also see ProShares. They also announced that
this space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
They're going to plan to launch 2 new Ethereum leverage ETFs. I'm really excited to see how much leverage they're going to be able to offer, but they're going to be able to provide both long and short. So yeah, that's good, guys. We need more volatility because more volatility means more liquidity interest into the whole ecosystem, right? So I do think that these new financial products, they really do make an impact, right? And of course, it's also very cost effective for these financial institutions to really gain exposure to both long and of course short. And that's really how they make their money, is they're short, right? Now we'll see how this really impacts the bear market, but we're going to see a lot more volatility. And we need that because the more market cap we actually have in terms of not just total market cap, but total market cap for Ethereum, we need more people to short so we actually see more volatility, or else it's hard to make money trading when it's just going sideways. It just gets boring, right? Now, I do want to quickly talk about the European central banks, and they have cut interest rates recently, and they haven't done so in the last few years, and this actually impacts Ethereum quite a bit. So because people are gonna move their liquidity to these crypto Ethereum because they see that it's a much more better place to store their value, right? And so I have no doubt we're going to start seeing a lot of just retail traders, but also potentially companies start moving their funds, European funds, to actually these crypto spot ETFs, and not just the Bitcoin ones, but also the Ethereum ones as well. So I'm really excited about that as well. It really can't be helped. Geopolitics is a little bit complicated now, right? Living in 2024 with everything happening in Europe. All right, so now do keep in mind that we did have that initial approval for spot Ether ETFs in the United States. Mr. Gensler is very cautious, okay, and he didn't mention, quote unquote, it will take time. Right now, they did approve, of course, the 19B4 filings. I think that's great, but I think how they actually approved S1 registration is going to be a game changer for all the other POS chains out there, because after a spot Ethereum, it's going to be Solana. There's no doubt. There's just too much network effects happening with Solana. And then the question is what's going to be after Solana? Is it going to be Polygon, Cardano, BNB chain? I don't know. That's a little bit complicated because Binance actually uses that as a discount token on their exchange, right? But it's possible because they have their own decentralized ecosystem, right? Now, do keep in mind that Mr. Gensler did emphasize disclosure and transparency. So we do see that we might have some issues with BNB chain regarding disclosures and transparency. But we'll see how it goes. If they skip BNB chain, and they just jump to the next one down, I'm excited to see which one they're going to be able to adopt. But like it comes down to which layer one chain actually gains that network effect. We see a lot of liquidity start moving into base chain as well as Arbitrum right now because of the DeFi platforms actually doing really well. But that being said, guys, they just don't have enough liquidity to match some of the top 15 other layer one alternatives. So I'm really excited to see which one's going to pop up after Solana, but we'll probably need a little bit more time to figure that out. That being said, though, my next thing I do really want to highlight is traditional finance and the banks, guys. They're now finally in with Avalanche. Now, we have seen this week that Misyon Bank, they're big Turkish investment bank, and one of the country's pioneering neobanks, so I'd say the challenger banks, they've recently launched a new tokenization platform on the Avalanche network. And you know what? I'm not surprised because Avalanche is so popular in Turkey because, of course, they're founders, right? That's where they're located, right? So this just came out like the last 48 hours, right? The whole platform is basically designed to enable institutions to tokenize their distribute various real-world assets, and that's where the money is going to be, guys. I'm not talking about just bonds and shares. We're talking about like real estate as well. Global investment base. There's so much money in real estate with traditional banks. So when you start having a traditional bank start dealing with real-world assets using a prominent layer on blockchain like Avalanche, I was talking to my good friend. He's a professional day trader, and I was just telling him look, send me a message if you see a good buying opportunity for the next 7 days because I want to get my money in to buy more AVAX tokens. And he was talking about yeah, okay, well, you got around 35 to 32, just DCA within those true ranges, you'll probably be able to get a lot of buy orders. And I'm just like, yeah, all right, that's it. I'm doing it right. Because I really do start seeing that Avalanche just might be the next Solana. We're seeing a lot of network effects. We're seeing a lot of adoption, real world practical adoption. And now we're seeing a bank. Guys, if you guys are concerned about how you should delegate your liquidity in your portfolio, like if you have Bitcoin, Ethereum in your top 3, and then you got Solana, and then you're not sure where else to diversify your portfolio, you should be looking into Avalanche. Now, do keep in mind you probably need at least 25 AVAX coins on P and move to P chain so you can actually stake it and earn yield on chain. So if you're planning to buy less than 25, just do keep in mind that long term you should be at least accumulating 25 AVAX coins so you can actually earn a yield, especially if you end up not selling it by accident or whatever, or you just want to sell a little bit. You want to be earn yield, right? So preferably you got to have at least a minimum 25. If that's that's a non-concern, then yeah, you should be considering buying more AVAX. That's what I'm going to do for the next 2 weeks. And I just can't wait to buy another big fat chunk. I'm just hoping to get a lower than 33, but we'll see how it goes, right? Now, I do think that the whole platform's capability, including not just real world assets, tokenization, but of course the fractionalization bonds, and of course you got funds, you got a whole bunch of company shares held by the banks. I really gotta stress real estate, right? So once you start real world tokenizing real estate through banks, you're gonna see so much liquidity jump in Avalanche. Now, I have no doubt that we're probably gonna start seeing this in other chains as well, but we're seeing this on Avalanche first. So if you're a banker, if you're a senior banker and you're on the committee board and you don't know anything about cryptocurrency, or the basics of it, the Bitcoin white paper, about Ethereum, because that's what's being going through in the SEC right now, you're probably wondering where you should be partnering, or which layer one you should be partnering up with, because at the end of the day, if banks don't get into blockchain technology through cryptocurrencies, they're going to lose so much profit. And they are already, because a lot more people start using it for intercontinental transactions, right? No one goes through wire transfers, unless like you're dealing with millions of dollars, like, and you're concerned about more like tax concerns, and you don't want to deal with fiat on ramp off ramp, then yes, I understand you're doing it through wire transfers. You're still using TradFi to do it, but the future is there. That's why MasterCard, you see Visa start both using cryptocurrencies as a way to make transactions and process their purchases, right? So if the banks are not on board, and you see Visa and MasterCard jumping, how else are they going to make their money, right? Their revenue streams are slowly being eaten away by blockchain, and the more the more services that blockchain is able to provide and take over traditional banks, banks are just going to be choked to death like the next like decade. It's going to take time, right? So that's why you see all these banks, they're trying to jump into like the stable coin industry. They're jumping into RWA, real world assets, tokenization industry. They need to jump in, because if they don't, they're going to be eaten alive. I have no doubt we're probably going to see a whole bunch of new like challenger banks. Like, what was it? We saw like Robinhood start buying like, what was it, Bitstamp cryptocurrency exchange this week. That's crazy, guys. All right. But like, you know what? Once you start seeing certain old banks not adopt blockchain, they're going to start losing a lot of their revenue stream. You know what's going to happen? Some other crypto-friendly, technological, savvy company like Robinhood is going to buy the bank and just integrate it with blockchain. Where I have no doubt we're going to see that, and I have no doubt we're going to see a lot of these older banks they'll be forced to partner up with these other more challenger banks that are already doing crypto. It's just going to happen. It's happening in Japan in Tokyo already. Some of the top three banks, like you have MUFJ, Mizuho, they're all dealing with crypto right now. They have to, because if they don't, they're going to be they could just lose so much liquidity from investors as well as retail users. Right. All right. So that's my spiel on the traditional banks, institutions, and Avalanche. I think that if you guys don't have like your options and AVAX in the top 10, I'm assuming you're holding more than 10 tokens. If you're not, that's totally fine. But if you're holding more than top 10 and you don't have AVAX in your top 10, there's something wrong with your portfolio. I really do think there is something wrong with your portfolio. I think right now, like, I think AVAX is like my top, this is like my number 6 position in my total like portfolio. But like, I need to push it more. I want to be like number 5 or 4 right now. I want to buy more. There's so much room for Avalanche to grow when you start seeing like traditional banks start like building on top of Avalanche. There's just so much money behind that, guys. It's just traditional. It's not even Web 2 money. It's just like old money stacked on this, right? So that's something you really look into. And if you don't have a position AVAX, please definitely look into it. I highly recommend it. Okay, and then last but not least, the next project I do want to talk about. This is not like neither good or bad, and it's the Near protocol. Now, for those who are not know, but Near protocol, it has seen quite really interesting. Let me just quickly take a quick look at today's. So if you look at the year-to-date gains for the Near coin, it's up 103% since January 1st. That's insane. All right. The last 30 days, it's more or less like just going sideways. We're just going up and down around like 7 to 8. That's fine. So if you do want some Near, sure, go ahead. Just make sure you buy like less than what today is. It's like $7.42. Just make sure you buy a little bit less than $7.40. It doesn't make sense if you buy more than a $7.50 at this point. Sorry, I'm spilling. Anyways, but I do think that Near protocol really did capitalize on the whole AI a narrative that's going on. For those who are interested in like computers and stuff like that, like geeky like me, we did have like the whole Taiwan Computex event happening this week, and like I don't know if you guys noticed on YouTube or checked out all these like new like video clips of Computex. Like the whole AI narrative is insane. It's like everywhere. It's like 90% of all the new hardware, unless you're dealing with like heat sinks and fans, there's something to do with AI. It's crazy. All the new CPUs are talking about like flops and their power, and it's all AI, guys. And here's the kicker: Near protocol, they actually started as an AI company, and then they adopted Web3, right? So if those are not familiar with that, definitely go check it out, right? Now, I just want to quickly talk about Near protocol before I talk about the impacts of it right now. Now, we did see for the last few weeks that their daily transactions have gained a lot. They've peaked a little bit, like I believe in middle or late last month, just like 2 weeks ago, to almost like 1.3 billion transactions. That's insane. I was actually concerned about Near Protocol losing proper a network effects and adoption, actually at the end of 2022. But you know what? I was actually keeping up to them on Twitter Space, or call it X.com, if you will. And I really did see that, they're still working on it. They still attending events. They're still building on their platform, even though they're kind of more they kind of rebranded their layer one chain to more like an operating system. I find that really interesting narrative that what they're approaching. But since they have that whole AI background, and they I think they were trying to push sharding really hard. But as much as I do understand sharding is great, unless they start seeing a huge amount of network effects and adoption, I don't think the sharding narrative is really going to help them until they hit where Solana is right now. Then I think the whole shard narrative is going to outpace a lot of other chains, easily Solana, right? Avalanche has this interesting way of scaling with their subnets, but Solana's bottlenecking. But they have their Fire Starter. Yes, they have their scaling solution coming up soon. But that being said, I do think their Near protocol, once they actually gain enough mainstream adoption, they have no issues with sharding because they have with scaling because they have their sharding technology. But that being said, I think it's the AI narrative that's really pushing it, and I don't think it's going to die. I think this whole AI narrative is going to continue at least for the next 2 years, because once we start seeing AI being really pushed so hard, and we're going to see ChatGPT 5.0, 6.0, and AI is going to be part of our daily lives, doing a bunch of stuff, and with our AR glasses, it's going to be sort of anyone interested in anime, it's Sword Art Online with those AR glasses and the fourth season or something. You can see AI, guys. This is a reality thing, right? And that's why you see Near Protocol gaining so much momentum in the last few months. They do have some really interesting projects. I've actually they have, for those who are not familiar, it's called the sweat economy, right? So it's almost like step in, but you don't have to buy shoes to actually walk and earn. So definitely go check it out if you haven't already. So you can actually just leave it on automatically and you'll earn coins. You don't have to ever press start and stop like step in does. So definitely go check that out. But I think they've actually gained so many active wallets just through that walk and earn game that's built on the Near protocol. So I do think there is some actual uses going on there. Maybe it's because the sweat economy gaining so much more traction lately. I don't know, but they do have a huge increase of users late last year. I think it was November, December. So that being said, the next, I can't wait to see the next big dApp that's actually deployed on Near protocol. I've no doubt that maybe we'll see more walk and earn apps. We'll see how it goes, right? But I do see this whole rise in Near on-chain activity on the Near protocol. It's showing financials performance, guys. I was talking to just some cool trading friends, and they're all talking about Near. I don't get it. They don't do their fundamental analysis. They just look at the charts and they trade whatever that has the most trading volume, liquidity on that day, right? They don't care if it's a shitcoin. As long as they have volume, they trade. But right now they're actually talking about buying Near and stuff, and I just find that really exciting because they're usually not so interested in something like this, or something. They just go with anything that's have the high trading volume, right? So we do see a lot of total value lock right now on Near, right? And it's surpassing. And here's the interesting thing: it's surpassing Cardano almost in total value lock right now. That's why I think that Near is becoming a more of a significant player in the whole DeFi space. Now, whether it gets enough adoption Avalanche does or Solana does, I'd love to see Near find its own niche in the whole Web3 industry. It doesn't have to be banking, doesn't doesn't have to be DeFi, but I would love to see them find their own niche in whatever it is, regardless if it's games or not. But if you start seeing games, then you have Blizzard already being partnered with Avalanche, and I think what was it Maple Story, a big Korean game that just got adopted by Avalanche. So a lot of Web3 gaming is all pointing towards Avalanche. So I have no idea if if the gaming part, the Web3 gaming part is going to be really help Near Protocol, even though they have this really cool walk to earn app game on built on it already. I would love to see like AI like apps and AI controlled smart contract deployed on Near. I think that would definitely help Near Protocol since they already have that AI background. Because like you really want to take advantage and utilize what you're the best at, right? Even though you have great sharding technology, like look, I want to see practical adoption. And if you can take advantage of the whole AI narrative. Why don't you have more AI smart contracts, right? So if I do see like an AI related smart contract or DApp deployed on your protocol, and I see that news, I'm going to start shifting some of my liquidity, a portion of it, and start buying Near. I already have actually a healthy position here, so I might just like not, instead of like buying more, I'm just going to hold and just sell less, right? So, but if you don't have Near protocols coins, like guys, definitely something you might want to look into. I think buying like a small position might not be a bad idea. All right, so that's my spiel for this week's fundamental analysis. We got my Avalanche, Ethereum, Near. They're just safe. You cannot go wrong. If you want a more higher potential earn, you might want to look at the smaller market cap ones like Avalanche, Near instead of Ethereum. But like, look, you just can't go wrong with all three at this point. All right. Hopefully that my analysis really helped you on this week's news. If anyone has any questions, feel free to put up your hand, and I will pass the mic. And hopefully it's something related this week's news. But if not, it's totally fine too. Feel free to put up your hands, and I'll pass the mic and just see if there's any hands up. All right, so I pass the mic to Melstroy. If you're there and you want to ask a question, feel free to do so.
I don't have actually a question. I'm just wondering if I can maybe talk about my project here, if it's a problem or not a problem. I think.
Yeah, you know what? Like I would personally, I actually wouldn't have mind, but unfortunately, I'm unallowed to do that. I was told strictly that I'm only able to accept questions. But if you want to talk about your project, actually do an AMA with XD. Definitely get in touch with our BD or marketing team, and they'll definitely be more than happy to set something up with you. Yeah. So, but yeah, thank you very much for putting up your hand. I don't see any other hands up, so I'm just going to wrap up today's AMA. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining today. Until the next AMA, definitely stay curious. And do keep in mind that we have a special AMA coming up next Tuesday. I can't really tell you what, but definitely stay put. You'll probably see the information popped up in the next few days. I can't wait. Well, that being said, definitely stay curious, keep learning. Have a good one.